Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be, I guess, the start of a series of finally turning the Corvette into a drift car. So I got this thing on jacks. If you've ever lifted up a C6, I'm sure the C5 is the same. It's a pretty sketchy job. Aside from that, I tested out all the burner wheels that I bought, and only 2 out of 9 fit. These BMW wheels work, so worst case scenario, I'll run these in the rear and try to keep my stock ones right here on the front. But what we're doing here is, well, one, I've already, like I said, got it up on jacks, test fit some wheels, and fixed my seatbelt. So these seats came out of a crashed car, which is just my assumption to why this buckle was no longer working. So I took the buckle apart, and now she works. So I've got a quality passenger seat now. I'm gonna do an oil change on this thing too, which right now is like in between work, essentially. So I'm probably gonna drain the oil on this right now. And that's about it for the rest of the day. But the car, for this first round of things, we're gonna do coilovers and an angle kit on the front. So I got to, well, I'll go grab those boxes and we can open those here in a sec. But, so yeah, just oil change, angle kit, wheels, which I had to order some more spacers. It's my spacers for my 114. So the Corvette's 5x120. Bought these, which are 5x114, but they're multi-lug, so the back is flat. There's no like recess, divot, whatever you want to call it, on the back of the wheel. Like these ones, that's missing. So the lug nuts, the lug studs stick out by this like little guide pin, which is like roughly 1/4 inch, and the thread pitch is exactly 1 inch. And my conversion spacers are 1 inch. So basically this won't go inside the wheel, if you can see that. And I think I'm just gonna be really sketchy and honestly just shave that off. Take my angle grinder to each stud on the rear. It's just a guide for the most part. And that will allow me to run another pair of wheels on the back. And then these wheels are 5x120, but they hit the calipers. The offset's not enough. So I got some spacers coming for those. So hopefully that works, because shipping to Alaska sucks. And it's the 13th, and first event's on the 23rd, so I have 10 days to do the angle kit, coilovers, oil change, and I'm pulling the whole transmission again, because this new used one that we put in last Corvette video is leaking from the input shaft seal. Also, another update from that one, I had to chop the mufflers off, which this car's way too loud. I need to get mufflers. But for now, at least so I didn't blow up, I got some little turn down things so that I can at least shoot exhaust and things at the ground instead of my fuel tank or transmission or whatever you want to call it. There's some trans fluid right there leaking, and I mean pretty much the only thing it can be leaking from is the input shaft seal, unless the like pump cover is leaking there too. But I'll do that just because I've lost some fluid. That way I make sure my transmission's good and full for the first track day. And oh, gonna be deleting the leaf springs as well by doing the coilover conversion. Hi, Talon. And yeah, so we'll see how everything goes and hopefully get the car ready for the first track day in 10 days. Because I want to drift and I'm excited to drift, or to start at least for now. We'll see. Let's go unbox these parts. So first thing, we're gonna open up the Silver's Neo Max coilovers, which Talon has already started opening them before me. So went with Silver's for a couple reasons. One, a ton of people run them on this chassis and they all say they like them. Two, shout out to Cole, which you guys kind of saw him in the previous video where he was the one that bought the crash Corvette from me, so I ended up meeting him and he has a Drift C6 too. Anyways, long story short, got me a hookup on the Silvers, which is sweet. My alternative was the Feels, I think the 411s, and I don't know, these were just a better deal, and like I haven't actually driven before, so anything quality probably would have felt fine to me. So I saved a couple $100 on these, and here they are. Got some spanners, some more coilover tools. This was, they shipped pretty fast too. They got here in a couple days, which is huge for Alaska. Here's one of them. Dang, this car's about to be slammed. So this goes on the front, I believe. Yeah, because we just have bolts in there. So the way the Corvette's set up is it's like an SLA, which is like a short arm on top, long arm on bottom, double wishbone suspension, and then it has a shock in the middle because it actually uses a leaf spring for the suspension. So like a truck has leaf springs that go like forward to back, the Corvette runs one from side to side, and that's how the front and the rear is. So going coilovers, you can see the rear is set up the same way. I know my lighting kind of sucks right now, but oh, also when I shipped the cars, my end links snapped, so that's pretty sick. So I had to order more end links. But yeah, so it's just a shock in the middle of both arms, and then you got the leaf spring that kind of goes all the way across there. So I'll be pulling out the leaf springs and pretty much putting a coilover right where the shock goes. This one's the front. It's like we got some height adjustment, which means we can get some good wheel fitment on this thing, hopefully. I mean, it's going to be drift specs, so probably honestly just make sure the wheels work properly, as low as it can be. And then the rears, same thing. So pretty excited to get these on and see how much better the car runs. We have 14K springs in the front and 10Ks in the rear, I believe. I don't know if they say, but that's what I ordered. 24 levels of dampening adjustment. It's got some dampening right here on the top of the rear coilover, and it's kind of down here on the collar for the front coilover. Now for the angle kit, I have never drifted before, and I have been on Corvette drift forums for 2 years, and basically my dilemma behind this was everybody, one, factory angle on these cars suck. Two, everybody likes to upgrade to the FDF Mini Mantis, which they all love it, but they all grow out of it. So it's like, I don't know, probably a good way to learn. Probably not good to just go big angle. And also I'm going to street drive this car. So my dilemma was to basically try to get a little more angle than the Mini Mantis, but not really go with a full pro kit. So what this is hopefully the best of both. On paper, has more angle than the Mini Mantis, less angle than the Pro. I think the Pro kit's 70 degrees. I think this one's rated at 65 and the Mini Mantis is like 55 or something. So the way this kit works is, it says an R, so we're gonna assume this is our right knuckle. So we have Pro wisefab knuckles, and these will completely replace the front knuckles right here. The hubs will just bolt right up to it, same with the calipers and stuff. And the alternative is we keep stock arms. So for this upper ball joint right here, it just kind of goes down into the arm. So what we do is we are pressing basically solid bushings with some spherical bearings into the stock arms. So basically, for the new knuckle, you just are adding, I don't even know what you want to call this, a pin, we'll call it, to the upper spherical bearing, which just has this little nut on top here. This is just going to go into the top of the arm because the arm is just a machined hole here on the outside. So this is basically our upper ball joint, and then we have our tie rod end here, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to order tie rods because these are going to be way short if this is all that there is. Then I have some adjusting washers for the tie rods, and then these sphericals basically are just getting pressed into the bottom control arm there for the lower ball joint, and they pretty much just sit right here in this in the new knuckle. So I'm really only gonna have to get these pressed in, which honestly, I mean, I potentially would even be down to do. I thought that there was gonna be way more than just this. I mean, it's got a snap ring. I could probably throw these in the freezer, clean those ones out real good, maybe take a torch to them, and probably even get them nearly without pressing. But we'll see what I end up doing for those. But yeah, so that's the kit. Basically just throw these on your lower control arm, use this for your upper ball joint, and that's pretty much the whole conversion for the stock arm kit. And we'll see how much more angle this thing actually gets. I should probably take a video before and after for you guys. Okay, so there was almost no turn radius factory, so we'll see how it turns out. We've made some progress, some forward, some backwards. Basically, it's a huge mess right now. I got the coilovers set up, kind of. I set all the dampening to pretty much right in the middle. I'll adjust from there once it's on the car. I'm probably gonna throw the rears in here in a second. I got not this side, but the passenger sides off to kind of go over what all I needed with the kit. And basically, I just got to press this lower ball joint right here and change that for this spherical. And then everything else will just bolt on. Got some C4 tie rod ends, or inner tie rods, which I also got to do those in the front. Pull that shock off. That's where the coilover goes. As far as the rear, I pulled the trans basically for no reason because it wasn't even leaking, and when I pulled it I broke a plug, so I had to do some wiring again, which I did that last time I pulled the trans down in Washington. So got that all in, all squared away. Now I'm gonna start assembling the side here. It's just ran the ABS wires and the brake cables. I got to get this axle back in the socket, throw the coilover in, hook up the sway bar end link, and then get the brakes back on, and then the rear's pretty much good to go. Aside from I got to bleed the brakes because right there has to get disconnected to drop the subframe. So basically I just need to bleed this brake, but I'll do both because I don't know how much air is in the system or not. So yeah, I just gotta finish tidying up the rear, and then, oh yeah, pull the leaf off the front too, and then those inner tie rods. This is all the rear suspension, is just the 2 shocks and a leaf spring. So replacing all that with the coilovers, and I guess we'll go ahead and get the rear end assembled. And I don't even know where to begin with picking a height. I don't know how low these are gonna be before lowering them, so I guess there'll be some trial and error for that, but we'll figure it out. We got one of the rear coilovers in, and I'm not gonna lie, I struggled for a bit because this rear bolt back in there, well, one, the top hat is different where the shocks are equal, so the long side goes towards you, which centers like your dampening screw on the top. However, you can't get anything on that nut to spin it. So I tried to look around and nobody said anything about that, and there was like no good pictures or whatever. But what I ended up having to do is you got to pull the top of the arm, then you got to pull the coilover out as far as you can so that you are able to get a shallow 13 mil in there on an extension and tighten that up, and then finish tightening the top up and then put it all back together. So I was just going to mention that because, like I said, I looked around for a little bit, couldn't find anything, and I was like, am I missing something? Because it just wasn't making sense. And then it's all right, whatever, I'll try to pull the coilover out, and you can pull it out just enough to get a smaller bit in there. So that's all you got to do. And I'm gonna get the other side put on, and then we're gonna get the preload set, which I'm just gonna wing the preload. I don't know, maybe I'll look up a better proper way to do it, but get the preload set, get the height set, and then the rear should be good. I have a feeling this thing's gonna be absolutely slammed though too. Like, this is the coilover pretty far out, and even now, I mean, the wheels sucked way up. So we'll see what it's like and get the height all figured out. We are in full disassembly almost, besides pressing out this ball joint. I gotta chop these arms, I guess. Gotta cut out like that chunk of the knuckle. So I'll just take an angle grinder to that thing on both sides so that the knuckle doesn't interfere. I got my wheel bearings out, knuckles off, everything's taken apart, except for the inner tie rod. That's what I'm doing next. So I'm gonna pull the tie rods, put the longer ones on there, never have a sealed boot again. Here's the actual comparison of the factory one that just come off versus the C4 inner tie rod. Got at least an inch, inch and a half there, so give me that angle. Four sphericals pressed in, shave down the knuckle right there, and got the rest of it. I had it mocked up earlier to see what I needed to shave. Yeah, there's coilovers all set for height. I still need to tighten the top, but I'm gonna wait till I put it on the ground. And yeah, we'll get this control arm and I'll show you guys the angle. Got it fully turned the other way, and I don't know if you can see in there, but we've got like the perfect amount of clearance. Yeah, it looks closer on the camera than it is in person. I mean, it is pretty close, but yeah, we got her all good. So that's sweet. Let me throw the wheel on real quick and I'll show you what it looks like turned out this way. It is full lock from the trailing angle with the stock wheel. Looks like it doesn't even rub, which is pretty sweet. Oh, just kidding. It hits the arm and the fender. Yeah, it can't run stock wheels, which I was already kind of told that, but I was like, yeah, we'll fit it. Why not? Why not see? Way too much offset. I think the stock wheel is like plus 56. locked out there. The leading wheel. And is this one hitting? Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't hit on the back. Hits on the front though. But yeah, it's the angle kit. It's supposed to be more than the Mini Mantis, less than the Pro kits. It's not a ton of camber. Obviously the car's still in the air, but everything is in and on. Everything's torqued, tightened down. Both knuckles are shaved. Just gotta get some wheels on here, drop it on the ground, and then I think the front height is gonna be good, maybe even a little low. I don't know how much the rear is gonna compress, so I may or may not be lowering the rear, but this car is about to be freaking slammed. So got the interior back together from the transmission stuff. Everything back here is tight, torqued, new. So I guess next step is to get this thing on the ground. Maybe go test drive it? I don't know. I managed to keep the ABS sensors, which is, I mean, it's useful and it's not. The car freaks out without ABS unless I actually pull the fuse, which is what I'm gonna have to do to drift probably. But my stock wheels no longer fit on the front because the offset's too bad. So I'm probably gonna switch those wheel speed sensors to the wheels that I'm gonna try to preferably run, probably these ESRs. But I gotta wait to see if my spacer's even gonna be enough to actually even run these. So if I put my wheel speed sensors in there, then I can run my Corvette rears on the rear and everything should be all right for street driving. Or I could just run with no ABS and just have a Christmas tree dash. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I gotta bleed the brakes. That's the last thing I do. Gotta bleed that right caliper because I have to open it up to drop the trans. But aside from that, she's pretty much ready to go. I'm still gonna do an oil change too. I still need to bleed the brakes. The car's technically not done yet, but I got it on the ground and got way too hyped. So turns out my front wheels actually fit on the rear, like literally perfect. And then I had some BMW wheels that fit front and rear. So I'm running a mixed setup right now, but it looks fucking sick. So here's a car. Clearly Talon wants to be part of the photos. Get out of my way, bro. But yeah, it's sick. I got some angle. I feel like pictures don't really do it justice, but again, if you've ever had a Corvette, like compared to stock, this is insane. Stock, we don't really have none. No angle. 24 degrees is what I think it is factory, and this is supposed to give me like 60. So, but yeah, rear fitment's pretty good. Come over here. And she's stiff. So, kind of cool that just randomly guessing on the coilovers, and it actually turned out to be pretty good fitment. Like, yeah, it's definitely not tucking, but as far as like an actual drift stance and like being super practical, like this car's freaking body low stock. Now I'm on 18s and I'm lowered. Like this rear end, this is definitely the lowest the rear end's ever been since I've had the car. But I don't know, dude, I'm hyped. So maybe gonna, it's already like 1 in the morning. Maybe gonna get the brakes bled tonight. Depends if one of my buddies wants to come over after work or not, but if not, I'll get the car wrapped up tomorrow, possibly go drive it. I'm not sure yet if I should. Started up. Here she is. I'd probably lower it a little bit more in the back, but with all the different size tires I'm going to be running, plus like track stance, probably pretty good. Go drive it and see if it stays together. The car all loaded up for the most part. Got some stuff down in the passenger seat. Got my chair, bag of tools, some other stuff back in the trunk. Gonna have 2 sets of wheels plus what's on there, so I think 3 sets should absolutely last me the day. And then just some jack stands, a jack, some extra engine oil, and I'm debating if I want to go to work and clean this right now. It's 11 o'clock at night and it is finally dark out. Oh, I also got my fire extinguisher mounted up, so that's bracketed to the seat, nice and sturdy. Needed that for the track. Got the arms all in, got an alignment today. We did wisefab's recommended specs for the front at least. So I did 7 degrees of caster, 5 degrees of camber, and 2 millimeters of toe out. And then the rears, we basically got everything at 0, so the rear end's just super straight. I don't know if you can tell with the car parked in the garage because my floor is kind of slanted, but definitely has some drift car camber to it now. I feel like I look at it in person, I'm like, dang, there's hella camber on that. And then I look on video and it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot, but she's ready for our first event. I was thinking about taking the street wheels just so I could absolutely drive home, but I don't know if it's worth the space. But yeah, car should be ready to go. It is dirty. I've been driving it for the last couple days. Mostly putting some miles on the angle kit, doing bolt checks, making sure everything's gonna be good. See, I don't know, can you tell? Let me see this. I can't adjust it on the camera while recording, but there's hella camera on this thing. But anyways, I don't remember what I was saying now. But yeah, track day tomorrow. So it's an hour drive to the track. It is 11 o'clock at night right now. We are going to probably not fall asleep anytime soon, even though I'm tired and should. But I'm going to try to wake up around 6:37, try to head out of the house around 7:30. A couple of my friends are going to meet up with me in the morning. We're going to load the bigger stuff up that I'm not going to throw in the vet. Drive an hour out to the track. And the event starts at 9 a.m. and drifting goes until 7. So I think if I can get over 20 laps, it's going to be a pretty good day. My buddy said that He got 42 laps at one of these events. I'm sure a lot of people registered last minute, but last I checked a day or two ago, there was only like 16 drivers registered. So we'll have to see how many cars there are, how many people's works. Hopefully mine works. Everyone's like, you got a Corvette, you're gonna have no issues. I'm like, that's why I bought a Corvette, but who knows? I did get a power steering brace. I haven't put it on yet because I don't know, I've been lazy since yesterday about putting the car up on jacks. And basically it goes down. In here is the rack, and I gotta remove the cooler right there, and then this bolt. Let's see if we can find it on camera. Right there at the tip of my finger. Goes through the rack, through the subframe, and I just have like basically a billet clamp that goes around it. But yeah, I just gotta lift up the front, try to work around the sway bar, and bolt it in. Pretty much convert it to solid bushing from standard bushing, and then give it like a way more clamping area, so it doesn't break the ear off of the rack. Sorry, I'm tired, dude. It's been long few days, especially with this car getting all together. This video's a span of like a week and a half, essentially. But the car's driving. I took it out last night. I did some cul-de-sac donuts. Drove good. That was before I lined it. I lined it today. I haven't gone to slide it, but it felt way better just on the road and turning and everything. So probably just going to take it to the track tomorrow and see if we can go from zero experience to Class B. That's all I want this year. I just want to get a Class B as soon as I can so I can take the homies for ride-alongs. If I get to Class A, that'd be sick. But unless I feel super confident behind the wheel, I don't know if we're going to try tandeming this summer. But we'll see, especially like without an e-brake. But I think I'm going to continue to buy like, yeah, look at that camera, dog. Shoosh. Anyways, I think I'm going to continue to buy like a part or so per paycheck, maybe. I'm kind of getting to like the more expensive things. Oh, I got a steering wheel. I don't know if I showed that on video yet, but I got an HKS Nardi. It's pretty fucking sick. So I gotta get an adapter for that, a couple $100. Technically should get HP tuners for myself so I can like adjust the fans and other parameters and send out data logs, because I tuned this thing on 93, I think, in Washington, and I'm on Alaska 90 right now. So she probably isn't loving the fuel. And I gotta get a seat and a bracket. Just doing a seat's gonna be over $1,000 easy. A whole hydro kit's gonna be easily $1,500. That's kind of all I need, to be honest. Hydro and a seat. And then I need to get an oil cooler, which is like $350. I think an oil cooler might be my next purchase, because it's probably the next thing that I actually need the most, per se. Like, I can get away without everything. I would like an e-brake, but if I learn how to inertia the car and clutch kick and things like that, technically won't need one. I mean, everyone says it's more of a crutch than an actual need, but I've always wanted a hydro. I thought they looked cool, but probably going to need to do a radiator eventually too. I'm going to see how temps do this track day. It is early in the season, so it's probably going to be low to mid 40s tomorrow. It's not going to be very hot. So if I'm getting hot on a day like tomorrow, there's no way the car is going to survive in the summer without other things. But yeah, I need to get a thermostat, activate my fans early, probably do a coolant flush. I haven't done the coolant on this car. The engine should only have like 12,000 miles on it, if even, so it should be fairly new, but you can't trust anybody. You can't trust any previous owners. Let's just put it that way. There's a big ass moth right there. How did that fucking thing get in my garage? Anyways, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. Nah, I gotta at least put a skid in it for you guys. I gotta put some type of skid. So maybe tomorrow I'll go do a donut on the pad, or I'll get something. And I don't think I'm gonna try to record the whole event in this video because this is just gonna be a long, strung out video. I'm gonna try to make another video drifting for tomorrow. But I'm only gonna have 2 GoPro batteries to pretty much last the day. So I'm gonna have to kind of figure out how I'm gonna do that. So it probably won't be too long of a video, but if I can get some mounts set up, maybe get some footage of the car, hopefully get someone to take some external footage. I should have a couple buddies out there, so it'll be interesting. So yeah, we'll see you at the track.